Good morning. This is Michael McGinnis from the Family Support Resource Center, and today we're going to be talking about safety. So, safety is one of those issues that um, I thought was just along the lines of stuff that people tell you to do so they don't get sued, um, or signs that we stop paying attention to after a while, warnings everywhere, and so on. But I think my eyes really got opened when a caseworker, my son's caseworker, said to me, um, I was reporting a problem with my son eloping, that is, running away. And she says, "What are you doing to stop that?" And I said, "Well, we switched the locks on our house around. Like, we reverse the doorknobs so that it locks on the inside and has to be unlocked from the outside unless you have the key." And she says, "Well, you're modifying your environment." Okay. So this got me thinking a lot about what safety really means. And when I look back, how much we really changed our entire lives um, to center around the safety of our son Gabriel. So, unique safety needs are very important to attend to, but this particular handout I really loved, um, under the categories of fostering awareness and problem solving. I was thinking back to one of 1,000 instances I've been in public or with my son in public, and a child wanders in the path of my shopping cart, say, and the parent notices they've done this and says something along the lines of, "Be careful," or "Watch what you're doing." And while this kind of like jars the kid awake for a second, I think you'd find that the next time you go to the store, you'd be saying the same thing. At least I always have. But instead, like these suggestions here, helping your child fostering awareness by saying, "Notice how," and then it's sort of like trying to institute a practice of getting the child to become more aware of their surroundings that they would otherwise stop paying attention to. Like instead of yelling, "Be careful," I might say, "Notice that woman over there with that yellow coat? Look at all those bananas she has in her coat. Like, look at all these um, steaks they have on sale. Or look at these prices. Look at all these colors." If I engage in a consistent practice of doing that, then it might be a better option than to just be uh, yelling the generic pejorative, "Be careful," over and over. Likewise, the problem solving I love because I'm certainly guilty of it, was guilty of it as a teacher. And that the top one there, "What's your plan?" So a lot of times it came to grades, and the end of the marking period had arrived. And I said, "The end of the marking period's here. You're failing your classes. What's your plan right now?" So instead of, directing sarcasm to teenagers, I think, would it be a good idea to help try to foster problem solving in our littles by asking them, like, "What's your plan if you climb that boulder or cross that log?" Or in directing them to do things a certain way, like, "Can you try using your feet carefully or quickly or strongly?" Like a way to try to get them to be more not only self aware, but aware of their environment. So, safety inside the home has been a big issue for us. We do have a window alarm on our son's bedroom window. This gate here in the second picture really isn't for safety, but more of a boundary meant to convey a guidance that we want to um, place on our son, and that we, after years of trying to encourage him to use a little toddler potty in his room, he never did. We instead put this baby gate up and said, "Gabe, we want you to leave the bedroom if you have to potty, go into the bathroom right next door, and then go back in and lay back down," because he's always had problems sleeping. Now, he could crawl through that barrier, crawl over it rather, or blow through it pretty easily. But it was just meant to be sort of a symbolic, like, guidance of that behavior that we wanted him to try. Kitchen safety is amazing. Like, if you can involve your kids in food preparation, that's such a rewarding thing to do. But if you're exceptional child's like mine, then there's a lot of lack of fine motor skill that could lead to injuries. So I found on Amazon for $11.99 they have a 14-piece wooden kids safety knife set with plastic knives, a corrugated cutter with a soft handle, um, but just very cool to think about using that kind of stuff, or maybe cutting perhaps less desired foods into more fun shapes using these cookie cutters here. And here's a little video of my daughter doing some food prep.
That's the blue one is Gabe's.
Hey, Laura, what are you doing right now?
I'm cutting grapes.
What are you making?
My breakfast, my nanny, lunch or dinner. I don't know, and I missed the rest.
That's the blue one.
So bathroom safety. Again, if you have an exceptional child who lacks coordination, like grab bars, non-slip mats, toilet safety frames, all these things can be gotten pretty cheap now. Again, I'm always going to point to Amazon when I think it's the best option. But here was my son having given himself an early bath time. Okay, did you really want to take a bath? So there he was. And we use this tension bar here, same as you would put on a shower curtain, but instead we got these dollar store baskets and hung them on the tension bar so we could sort of get some toys out of the way, because we have that ever-present abundance problem of too many things. So bedroom and sleep safety has always been pretty important. One month of May, it was pretty warm outside, and it got stuffy in the house, and then our air conditioning broke at the same time. So came time to put Gabriel to bed, and I opened his window to let him get some air. And the screen inside is not meant to be removed, but the next morning at 6 something in the morning, I hear this. Open the door. It's our neighbor. Is this your boy? Yup. He sure did. He got up into that window frame, popped the frame out. It was on the ground floor, so he didn't fall, but he tumbled out the window and started running around our yard in his pajamas at 6 something in the morning. So we were mortified, and that's when we installed the window alarm. Here's a little clip from a couple weeks later when I sort of was able to witness his process for escape. Abe?
Yes.
What happened?
I'm caught. I'm still.
Are you stuck?
Yeah, I will.
Abe?
Yeah.
So outside the home safety, this has been a big deal for us too. We found this bag of cones that was going to be thrown away by some rec department or whatever. I can't even remember at this time. You can see half those cones are bleached just about white from the sun. But we put them at the end of our driveway and engaged Gabriel with an if-then statement. If you cross those cones out into the road, then we're going inside. And that, by and large, has worked pretty well to keep him out of the road. So with playground and recreational safety, we've always had to be mindful of that because, again, with that lack of coordination, Gabe can't really steady himself, or at least couldn't 5 years ago on a standard swing. So we put him in that toddler swing a good bit after the time that you would normally put a kid in a toddler swing, and here he is.
Whoa. What do you think, KB?
It's also good to teach playground rules, such as taking turns and using equipment safely. We've worked on that quite a lot, taking turns, sharing in experiences. Water safety. Of course, our kids need constant supervision around bodies of water. Um, but this water safety topic gives me the opportunity to sort of share an anecdote, and under the category of sometimes things happen without our involvement. Because especially if you're anything like me, as the parent of an exceptional child, it's so easy to fall into the thinking that you have to be doing everything right and pushing your child in the right direction all the time, or else you might ruin them. But Gabriel, after first getting in the ocean when he was 18 months old, and he liked it, the following summer we went back. We used to go to the beach, Eastern Shore, during the summertime, and he would not approach the ocean anymore. Instead, he would just stay at the very beginning of the beach, up where the dunes are, and he would just roll around in the sand. So that was kind of the end of our ocean vacationing for a couple years. And then for some time after that, he became averse to water in general. We couldn't even get him to get in a pool beyond putting his feet in. And then he sort of got over that. But for the 3 years previous to last summer, even when he could stand in a pool and the water would only come up to his belly button, say, he would hold on to us for dear life. And under this category of things that we didn't do, or actions that we didn't take, like we didn't take him to the pool in the off season or try to work with him in therapy about it. But lo and behold, last May, took him to the pool on opening day. He jumps right in. No fear, no clinging. I mean, he's still, of course, wary of like water that's too deep for him to stand comfortably in, but he doesn't hold on anymore. So sometimes it's like that. Emergency preparedness is something I kind of got, for lack of a better word, shamed into doing, because that same caseworker who was talking to me about modifying my environment says, "Do you have a home fire escape plan?" I was like, "No, we don't." So this is something that every family can do. You'll notice that these fire safety plans are all over the place in public buildings, private businesses, even displayed for people to know, like, where do you go if there's a fire? And I think prior to being sort of shamed into making one for my family, I always thought, well, I just grab Gabriel and run out the door if there was a fire. But what if you couldn't? So we did make one of these for our house, and we had him participate by coloring the different rooms different colors with crayon. And we sort of go over that and practice. And my hope is that if there is an emergency, he will be that much more prepared to stay safe. Personal safety skills are very important. Teaching personal boundaries, recognizing unsafe situations, and using appropriate communication methods to help. This has been a mixed bag for our family because Gabriel does not, or did not, approach strangers. In fact, he would ignore people that he didn't know, adults and children, just entirely ignore them, entirely ignore the kids, and at least not make any eye contact with the adults or respond to them when they talk. But this is important to try to get that lesson in whenever you can, like being aware of personal safety, things that you should not be doing. I'm always going to harp on the collaboration with professionals. I got a lot of those tips, like the case manager I was just talking about, from healthcare providers, therapists, or safety specialists. Like, just take a minute. It might feel weird to like ask them questions beyond what their standard lesson delivery is, but you can ask them to troubleshoot problems with you. There's no reason not to do that. They're there to help. So don't be afraid to ask questions about how to deal with certain situations. And I am happy to report that after about 4 years of leaving our front and back doors unlocked from the outside, we finally did switch our doorknobs back around because the eloping behaviors have mostly stopped. And you can still see from this photo taken just a couple weeks ago that we still have the keys up top as a memory of what we went through. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.